So I have an audition tonight to play at Newland's Church, and I don't have a case for my big board, so I have to move all of this onto this small one. Wish me luck. Whew. What's up? So today I'm going to be going through the process with you guys of how I had to change my old big pedal board into a tiny one because I didn't have a case to transport it, but I had a case for the tiny one. So that process was very hard. I've made lots of pedal boards in the past, but I've only made pedal boards bigger. I've never had to take a big one and make it small. And I used all the same pedals, and it was a lot of hard work. Like, it was pretty stressful. There was a lot of points where I thought I was just gonna have to give up and take my big board without a case. But luckily, I was able to do it, and then this video is gonna be how. Just so y'all know, this video is before I had the HX stomp, so that's not in this video, and that's why now in my newer videos the stomp hangs off to the side instead of being on the board. But I kind of like it better that way anyways. All I have to do is just bring another little separate bag, like a little backpack that I just put on, and it's kind of just the same difference. So yeah, here's that video. So over the years, my pedal board has gone through a lot of variations. This is the first one. This is the second. This is the third one. And then honestly after that, I kind of just lose count of all the variations it had. And then at some point I ended up with this bigger pedal board. Honestly, my thought process was the bigger the board, the more pedals I can put on it. The only problem is that it was big, clunky, and hard to transport. So when the case for the pedal board finally just gave up and broke, there was only one thing I could do. I had an audition that night, no way to transport my board. So what do? I just move it to a completely different and smaller board, because a smaller board actually does have a case for it. Was that the smartest thing to do? Maybe, maybe not, but it was fun, and it ended up in a pretty good result. The first step was taking off the board. Here's some of the pedals I had. This was the Tumnus Overdrive by Wombler Pedals. We got the Friedman OD. That's going to be my main lead line drive. Next up, we have the Metal Muff Distortion. I'm probably going to do a video what I use that for. I've got the Nux Compressor. I think that one's a little less known, but I really like it for what it does. Then we have the Sweet Baby, which I use for a clean boost, but it's technically an overdrive. For my octave, I've got the Sub and Up. Then we've got the Polytune as a tuner slash buffer. Hopefully I can get an actual buffer for my board, but we'll see how that goes. Then I've got the JHS Reverb as my bass reverb pedal. I've got the Flamma Modulation pedal. This is a pretty underrated and pretty good pedal. I've got the MXR Carbon Copy Delay. And then last but certainly not least, I've got the Blue Sky Reverb. Now for the cables. Then I had to go ahead and take off all the cables from the old board, to unplug all the stuff from the power supply. This honestly may have been the most annoying part of building this board. It was just like taking off all these mixed and matched cables, all this like crumbled up mess. I really need to be more neat with my cables. Now I've got to remove this piece of crap off of the little board. Now attach the better one. Oh, if only it were that easy. This is where I ran into my first problem with the video. The little power supply holder I had on the little board was too small to hold the Voodoo Labs power supply. So my second best option was to just Velcro that thing right on there. We now have to move on to a very satisfying part, cleaning the board. We're going to be using rubbing alcohol. To me, this really actually is one of the most satisfying parts of building a new board. Just taking that old, dusty, and dirty surface and just taking some nice rubbing alcohol, cleaning it up, making it look so shiny. For those pedal board builder beginners out there, putting rubbing alcohol on the board, what it's gonna do is just make the surface more clean and more able to be sticky with the Velcro, so the Velcro will stick on it better and you won't have your pedals being as loose or as susceptible to coming off of the board. Alright, so it's all nice and clean. Now we map the pedals. Alright, this is what I got so far. This is like the prototype. It's going to be very, very tight fit, but I think I should be able to make it work. After mapping the pedals, the next part is going to be mapping them, but with cables. So you're not going to really Velcro them yet. You want to make sure that the cables can actually work and fit in correctly before you stick it down and you realize, oh no, I don't have enough space for all these cables. Now this part is probably the second most annoying part, especially for this particular build, because I'm making a big board into a small board. So all those cables were really, really tight fits, and it was just a very, very annoying process to do. Alright, so this side of the board is all cabled and mapped out. It fits. It only looks wonky right now because I haven't put all the Velcro on it yet. It'll look nice and neat once I do that. Now we're gonna move to this side, which has two big pedals, so whatever, we'll do it. Now, believe it or not, mapping this part of the board was actually a lot harder than the first part. Sure, the first part has a lot more pedals than the second part, but the fact that I have two big pedals here makes it an even tighter fit. Plus, because of the fact that the first side has so many pedals, it gives me a lot less space to use on the second side. So I'm over here having to try and make it all work, fit it in together, and again, very, very annoying process. Alright, for the most part we got it down. If it's a big if I can fit this in somewhere once I put on the Velcro, then I will. But worst case, I'll just keep it to the side like I usually do, because I don't always use it. I usually use it for metal music, not worship music. And this is gonna be a worship, rock, and metal board, so it's just gonna do everything, which is what I love about my board. But let's get to the Velcroing. Forgot to say that before you Velcro the pedals, definitely map out the power cables. That is also going to be super important. Okay, so this whole side of the board is down. It's in. I'm actually very proud. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit, but it's good. We're halfway there. Got this down. Now we just got to fit these onto here. Again, if only it were that simple. Alright, so I just had my second issue where this pedal, whenever I put it down, this one was like this, so I'm like, that's not good. So I just had to move all this stuff this way slightly, and luckily I was able to make it fit. So now I just need to put the cables in. Fingers crossed. Once I got all that done, I was able to map everything correctly, Velcro it all down, and I got a nice, perfect little fit, and it made me so happy. I did it. I actually did it. I managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pedals to fit in this board. Sadly, I couldn't get this one, but this was never a main part of my board anyways. It's just like a little added plus. Oh, I did it. And now for the sound reveal. that was it. This is my new board. Ever since I made it like this, it's done me so many good wonders. I've gotten so many compliments on it, and I feel very, very proud of this build. It works so well. It's a lot lighter, a lot less clunky, and it still sounds so good, especially now that I have the HX Stomp. I'm going to show you guys in a later video what I use it for, but for this video, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all subscribe and like. I didn't have a case big enough to transfer my pedal board, so I did something. That was my pedal board. Now that's my pedal board.